What's up, guys? Mount Vernon Kid here, coming to you again. Welcome back to my comic book review. Um, as always, this week was good. This was really good. Everybody, this is Hoagling. It's my bro. Um, basically, like I said, it's a good week this week. And first of all, as always, I give a shout out to someone on my channel on this on my reviews. This time, I'm going to give a shout out to Solo Kong this time around. Somebody, please don't request me giving you shout outs. That's something I do just to show my respects and things like that. So please don't do that. But yeah, Solo Kong is a subscriber to this channel. I always love hearing his opinions on what books may I have picked up, or he has as well, and things like that. So it's always a pleasure to hear from him. So yeah, I hope I'm saying your name right, Kong. I just call you Kong. But yeah, so Kong, shout out today. So, and as always, everybody knows. I mean, now if you've seen the intro, guys, you know I don't even have to give my love and respect to my sensei, my mentor, Blue Goblin. So don't even have to do that really. But he already knows. Anyway, we're gonna move on to the comics, and we'll kick it off in Dynamite. I have a few independents, two independents, no, three independent, and the rest of Marvel and DC. So we'll kick it off independent style with Dynamite's Green Hornet number 24. Yes, this is still the story arc. Still, this is the second part of the story arc known as Outcast. Um, Brit and Brit and Mulan, the new Kato, have recently found out that somebody is impersonating the Green Hornet and is going around killing people, and it's all a plan for this uprising politician to get power in Century City. So he hired ex-con to go around killing people as Green Hornet, and Britt is not pleased about it because that's the legacy his dad left him, and he is going to find this guy no matter what, and make sure the legacy of the Green Hornet is not tarnished at all. But a very good standard issue, pretty much, the whole frame up job story. Personally, with me, those never get old. It's just how you do them that. Uh, but it never gets really old. The old frame job stories. But yeah, Green Hornet number 24. Dynamite still knocking them out of the park, boys and girls. Next up, we move to IDW, and the first one is Snake Eyes number 12. Chuck Dixon still is on the book, and uh, Snake Eyes. Since this is the aftermath of what happened between the new Cobra Commander and things like that, it is G.I. Joe thinks Snake Eyes is dead. He's off the radar. Snake Eyes returns to the Hard Master to basically fulfill some kind of unfinished business. Uh, Now that cover basically kind of shows what he is dealing with. But the bottom line really is that Snake Eyes has made a deal with his former Oroshikage member known as Storm Shadow. But it's not what you think it is. Storm Shadow has him and Storm Shadow made an alliance because they're going to take out Cobra. And their first victim, first target, Zartan. Uh, so yeah. So basically, issue number 13 will be called Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. They'll change the title, but this was good. It was good to see Snake Eyes deal with kind of inner street theme instead of like GI Joe themes, the soldier theme. But yeah, it was good, very good indeed. Next up, Transformers: Robots in Disguise #4. All right, things are getting a lot crazier on Cybertron now, and it's right that cover shows off Prowl, and he's the main focus of this issue. Prowl has been going through a lot of changes in now, as well as him and RC. They pretty much have been going through a lot. Since Prowl is in charge of keeping the Decepticons that survived the Great War in check, he has an option. Like if they get out of line, he has a device that he can press this button and their heads will explode. There's devices in all Decepticons. And does he do something in that? Yes, he does. I'm not going to spoil who he kills, but there are a couple of them he kills. Um, but yeah, things are changing for Prowl, and you know, is it for the better? I might not say so. It's not looking that way. Sometimes he's changing. Prowl is changing, and it kind of hurts me to see that because he's one of my favorites. I love Prowl. I love Prowl. He would probably be one of my top 10. He's in my top 10 Autobots list. But yeah, it was good. I'm not saying it was bad, but yeah, Prowl is changing. But like I said, I don't want to spoil those Decepticons he killed. If you're still on Transformers, you'll love it, guys. All right. So we move on to Marvel, and we'll kick it off with Astonishing X-Men #49. Margaret Liu. She, like I said, if you don't know who Margaret Liu is, she was the only female writer. She's the only female writer at Marvel, and she had a very good run to me on X-23. So she's taken up the writing for Astonishing X-Men, and we get basically North Star, as I said before in the last review I did for 48. North Star and his lover have moved into Manhattan. They get an unexpected visit by Wolverine and people like that. Then all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose. The Marauders come and just wreak havoc, and this is where it picks up. So basically, we see the Wolverine and some of his X-Men, Gambit, Iceman, Warbird, Cecilia Ray, and Karma, basically, and Northstar fighting the Marauders. Uh, some of them are actually kind of weird because Vanisher is back with the Marauders, and he nearly he did something to Wolverine that was like almost like, oh man, like can he actually heal from that? Um, but we realized that the Marauders are actually being controlled by some because not all of them wanted to do this. We still get some good chemistry between Warbird and Iceman. They kind of teased at that in Wolverine and the X-Men. Warbird seems to really like have some kind of attraction to Iceman. Iceman they still been doing a great job with Bobby. I'm very proud of that. To see him, his powers are real. He's really starting to step up now and showcase the reason why he is an Omega class level mutant. He does some things in here that was just like, all right, go Bobby. You know what I'm saying? Um, but it's really what happens to Karma in this that really has a lot of focus, especially at the end. Kind of leaves on a cliffhanger. But Miss Lou's still so far so good with Miss Lou. Um, can I say is she Gail Simone? No, I'm not gonna compare the two, but she's good. She is good. Astonishing X-Men #49. All right. And next up, we go back to the man without fear himself, Daredevil #11. This is the final part, the three-part story of the Omega Effect. Uh, the team up between Spidey, Frank, and Matt. Pete, Matt, and Frank. Um, so the Omega disk drive that all the criminal organization have been after is not just like a USB drive or something like that that's got top secret. It is made up of the unstable molecules of the Fantastic Four old costumes, their old uniforms. Everybody wants that. Matt found it. Everybody wants it, and he's been kind of keeping it safe. So this comes full circle where Matt basically tries to put a plan together along with his good friend Spider-Man and their unlikely alliance with the Punisher. Um, what also was good in this was that Matt kind of basically comes to terms with his situation of what he's doing with this Omega Drive, as well as I said before, if you've been reading Punisher, he has a partner now, a fellow Marine like himself, that her fiance and her entire family at her wedding was gunned down, and she's now taking up the cause and things like that. And Matt kind of persuades her to showcase that, you know, if you keep going down this route like Frank, it's not going to end well for you. Frank can't come back from this. You just started. You're not the only one that has lost somebody to crime. You know, Matt goes on to say, I've lost people. Mostly almost every one of my friends, even my superhero friends, have lost a family member to crime. You're not alone in this. But this was still it was a very good three-part story. Very good. I enjoyed it. It, like I said, it kicked off in Avenging Spider-Man, then from Punisher into Daredevil. But it was good. I really enjoyed it. Mr. Wade, you've been thumbs up again, dude. You've been doing such an excellent job on this book. I can see why a lot of the comic book critics, even though I don't really care too much for the critics, have been praising your work so far. Best reviewed book of 2011 and now. Good stuff. Thank you, Mr. Wade. All right. So we move on to. I think I skipped something. I usually go in alphabetical order, but I think I skipped something. I went from D to C. Whatever. Captain America number 10. Brubaker. Still no slouch at Cap. The best Captain America writer up to date. Um, So we've been seeing that Steve has been having these dreams, right? And these dreams are showing that he has been losing his ability. The super soldier serum has gone from him, and he thought it was fake, but now it has come reality, and we see that. However, it's cured thanks to Tony Stark, and now Hydra has set off a mad bomb, and this mad bomb is making the people of Manhattan crazy, and they're going mad with anger and jealousy and rage. And Falcon is there trying to stop it, but he gets affected too, and he becomes just like them. And all pretty much that's where we get a kind of a into battle with Sam and Steve when he gets back in on the front line. Sam really beats the hell out of Hawkeye because he tried to help, and it was just crazy. I mean, he was going on about, you know, you were just jealous and this and that. Avengers picked me over you, and at one point, and I was like, man, and he was gonna kill Hawkeye. He was gonna smash his head with a brick, and till Cap came, and then there's a fight between them, kind of, but Sam was fighting it after a while, and he was able to fight it off, but yeah, it's still showcasing that Hydra is still a major player, and they still have plans. The plans are not. It's all part of the plan, so to speak, for Hydra for what they want. I don't want to spoil too much, but that's pretty much the gist of this story. But Ed Brubaker, once again, another thumbs up. No slouch at Cap. He does a good job. All right, so we'll move on from one Avenger to the next. Mighty Thor number 13. All right, so make this quick because it's all coming back now that everybody is embracing Thor again. Basically everybody from Asgardia. The All Mothers are. They admit that the trolls made everybody forget who Thor was and everything like that. But it's also the story is main also about Dr. Donald Blake. Yes, indeed. Um, we see in the book Donald Blake is in a cafe or so, and he's talking to um, a female, and he's going about how he can't remember all of his past, his childhood, everything. His memory starts to get mixed up with other memories, and he starts to realize whose memories those are. And this blonde female is just sitting there listening to him like a psychiatrist, and she's like, interesting, interesting. And at the end of the book, we realize what Donald Blake wants. He wants to be a part of Thor again, basically, in a way, because Donald Blake and Thor are separated now because what happened later, and the female he's talking to is none other than the Enchantress, and she's sitting there, and he basically Donald Blake says, make me a part of him again, and you can name your price, and that caught her attention right there, and I got to give Fraction credit. That was a good cliffhanger to like the Enchantress. Oh shoot, haven't seen her in a while, and yeah, she was there. She was there, and you know, Donald Blake is getting a little desperate. I guess he misses being a part of Thor. Instead of just being a local doctor. Again, but is got to give Fraction credit where credit is due. Next up, uh, the end of Moon Knight number 12. Bendis and Malieve. Yeah, another one of my favorite Marvel heroes comes to an end. I think this is about what, the 8th volume of Moon Knight that has come to an end. Only 12 issues, and it's all become full circle in a way. From the first issue, I'll give Bendis and them have kept it pretty much what the concept of it was. All about this Ultron head, and who wanted it. So there's a battle between Moon Knight and Count Nefaria, and it's all about the Ultron head. I will say this: I still disagree with Bendis killing off Echo. She didn't have to die. She was a cool character. I love the fact that she was like the female Daredevil. Here, Daredevil's blind. She's deaf. But she was still an excellent character, and I thought her and Moon Knight made a very good team. Their chemistry was good. Seemed to be building up to some kind of chemistry and love interest between them. And you know, she dies by Count Nefaria. But anyway, there's a battle between Moon Knight. He calls in the cavalry. The Avengers. They come, and now Count Nefaria is like, "Don't think I know." And then you got to remember, Count Nefaria is strong because this is the same Count Nefaria that was able to go toe to toe with Thor. And Thor was there, and he's like, "Okay, I remember," and he just smacked the hell out of Count Nefaria, and went down. Um, Moon Knight gives the head over to Ultron, and he basically explains that Ultron is out there somewhere, calculating, he's planning. There seems to be some kind of Holocaust that Ultron is planning, and everything like that. But bottom line is, Moon Knight, he's tired of L.A. He's tired of Hollywood, so he pretty much leaves it. But he basically says that when this Ultron war happens, give me the heads up. And Tony says, you know what? Everybody's gonna know about it. So at the end of the book, basically, I'm spoiling a lot, guys, but I think it's deserving. It basically says that this is the end of Moon Knight in this, but Moon Knight will return in that Ultron war that's supposed to be coming. That's coming. So yeah, Ultron, something big's coming for Ultron, and we've all seen it. Remember that timeline of the future of the Marvel universe that Tony was saw? I guess it's coming true. Ultron's coming back, and I know there's a good friend of mine that is loving that. He's a huge Ultron fan. I love Ultron too, but yeah. Next up, here it is. I've been waiting for this one. New Avengers number 25. This is kind of what connects the Phoenix and the Iron Fist. We get a good backstory of the Iron Fist before another one of Danny's predecessors is Iron Fist. And it turns out that she's a redhead. She's a redhead. She was some of the people of Kowloon are able, when they go on their pilgrimage to Earth, to the Earth plane, back to Earth. One of them actually had a relationship had a relationship, had a daughter. Her hair was fiery red, and she was trained to be the Iron Fist in a way. Now the leader, the head leader of Kowloon, Master Yi Lin, basically tells the Thunderer that train her to become the new Iron Fist, and we kind of see that. It's all a backstory. This is all it is, and it all. I don't want to spoil too much, but there's a lot of connection between the Phoenix and Iron Fist. It was good. I really enjoyed it. Not bad at all. Um, it takes place mostly in the past, and then the end is in the present day. But yeah, besides that is a badass cover too. But um, Danny's not in this book at all. All right. Next up, Secret Avengers number 26. Another tie into Avengers versus X-Men. This is what this is basically the other Avengers team that are trying to divert the Phoenix from getting to Earth. So we got Thor, Captain Britain, Beast, Ms. Marvel, Valkyrie, War Machine, Vision, and they're all there to uh, kind of divert the Phoenix. Beast comes together with an idea of concealing it in this container that will be able to kind of hold the Phoenix. But things don't go according to plan. Also, the Creed, we get to see what the Creed is up to. We know that, and a certain character makes his return in this book. I don't want to spoil who that is. I can't really spoil too much of do they succeed, and you know they don't succeed, but I don't want to spoil too much. Secret Avengers is still good. Rick Morender has really been doing a good job on this book. Very good. I've really been enjoying what he's been doing. I'm really enjoying his writing, period. And he delivers on this. And the return of a certain character, let me just give you a hint. He's a famous Kree soldier. Let's just put it like that. Next up, make this real quick because it's nothing. Okay, Ultimate Comics, The Ultimates, number 9. Jonathan Hickman. Bottom line is there are two cities, as said. There are two cities almost going to war, and if the Ultimates are trying to make sure they don't start this war. One of the cities is called, what's it called? The city. It's called the city. Reed Richards, he created it, and he has these super powered people, individuals that live here. And the other city is the city called Tan, and they are about to go to battle with each other. So what does the United States government decide to do? They decide to set off a nuclear bomb to stop it. That's crazy, right? So the the Ultimates are caught in the middle of this, as well as the government feels that the Ultimates and Nick Fury and Shield are not doing their job, so they're shutting them down, and they send in a Black Ops team to pretty much shut down the Ultimates and Shield, and that's pretty much the gist of this book. But yeah, it's good, but you know, if you're not reading the Ultimates, I'm not gonna force anybody to read it, but um, it's there. But yeah, Reed's the bad guy in this now. All right. Uh, have now one thing I will say, guys. Have I read Uncanny X-Men 11? That recent? Yes, I have. I read it. It was there. I still read Uncanny X-Men, guys. I just stopped reviewing it now. It's just like it's it's there now. It's just part of my collection. I just read. Bottom line, there was a battle between Colossus and Red Hulk. We see it. What they do to Colossus in this is just so disgusting. I'm sorry, and it just bothers me. And not to forget, there's a certain artist on there that I just can't stand. Yeah. Okay, so next up, Wolverine, number 305. This is the start of the new creative team on this book. Old wounds are starting to come back for old Logan, and he's starting to realize once again. Now, the thing about this is that he's realizing that he's blacking out at times, and he's waking up with blood all over him. He doesn't know what happened, and he's been going from some cities. He's been in New York. He's been in St. Louis. He's been in California. He's been here. But there was a witness that actually saw him do it. But we know that Logan is not in control of this. Somebody that he remembers from his past when he was in an asylum. I never remember seeing Logan in an asylum, but he was in an asylum. The doctor there was known as Rot, and he's doing something to Logan, having him black out, and Logan's waking up with blood all over him. Um, but a good start. The writer is known as Boone. He does the writing in this. Artwork is not bad, but a new beginning for Wolverine, as always. And yeah, I want to see where this goes. What this Doctor Rot is all about. He's really disgusting looking, guys. And last but not least, from Marvel, man, Mr. Gage, my God, X-Men Legacies numbers 265. This was good. I don't know what you have been. I don't know what you're smoking or ingesting, Mr. Gage, but I want some because this was good. Um, Such a touching story of friendship and how basically let's put it like this: the story basically shows off how far are you willing to go for your friend, basically, and we see that Mimic will go to great lengths in this. Now, if you don't know who Mimic is, guys, Mimic is an old school X-Men character that you got to go way back to think of. Unless you're a true X-Men fan like yours truly here, you'll know who he is. And he basically is willing to go the distance to protect his friend Weapon Omega from killing himself. And we also see, once again, Christoph Gage, man, he seriously does Rogue really, really good in this. Without spoiling too much, guys. Like I said, it's all about how far are you willing to go for your friendship. That's pretty much how I will sum this up. Really is, Mr. Gage. Keep up the good work, sir. But the next issue will get into Avengers versus X-Men, and from what I saw from the image, it looks like Rogue and Jennifer Walters, She-Hulk, are going to be going at it somehow. Interesting. But that was good nonetheless. All right, so we're on to DC, and I have 6 DC books to cover. And starting off with probably by far my favorite of the New 52, Aquaman number 8. Yeah, this is still continuing the Others storyline, I guess. And we get to see what Arthur was before, 6 years before he met Mira and joined the Justice League and everything like that. Arthur, to quote Triple H about Shawn Michaels, Arthur was a very angry young man in the beginning. He really was. We get to see that Arthur was a part of another group of individuals, as you can see here, all these guys around him. You have a character known as the Prisoner of War. Um, uh, I'm forgetting this Russian dude. Um, this woman, man, I'm forgetting their names. Takarka, I believe that's her name. But it's still all about who destroyed Atlantis, but it's more of a backstory of what changed Arthur, what changed him, and Jeff Johns does a really good job, and Ivan Reyes' artwork is perfect. But yeah, it really showed off. Okay, what Aquaman was like younger. Losing his dad, and he leaving his home and everything like that, and wow, it gets really good. And of course, why Black Manta is hunting down the members of this once team that Arthur was a part of. But yeah, good stuff, man. Very good. I've been loving this book. Aquaman this is by far probably my number one of the 52. This has just been excellent. I give you praise, DC, for that. Y'all really have been pushing Aquaman much better than you've done in years, in my opinion. Uh, Batman: The Dark Knight number 8. Uh, Trapped in Wonderland. Yeah, in a way he is. David Finch, Joe Harris. Unfortunately, if I'm not mistaken, it says Ed Benz does the artwork in this. Uh, David Finch just did the cover. So Ed Ben is the artwork in this, and it's basically Batman's on a case, and it involves Tweedledee and Tweedledum. So we all should know who's involved in this, right? Yeah, Jervis Tetch, the Mad Hatter, makes his 52 debut, and man, do they make his buck teeth look even worse in this than my God, talk about overbite, dudes. He has oh my God. But yeah, it's a case about Mad Hatter, and what he's been doing to the city. Also, we get more in depth of what's going on with Jim Gordon, Commissioner Gordon. One of his lieutenants feels that he's losing it. He's losing it, so he kind of orchestrates the mayor to make him, basically demands the mayor to write out a recommendation demanding him to go see a psychiatrist. And he goes into detail, with the psychiatrist. Should I talk about, my ex-wife is now back in town, keeping cotton, what's going on in Batgirl, or should I talk about how my little girl is now walking again, and I wasn't really around to see it, and then he goes a little bit into his son, but he kind of stops. But it was a standard issue, very standard issue, but it was good to see the Mad Hatter. Just, my God, the buck, he just looks like major overbite. Um, Not underbite, overbite. You can kind of get a look at him right there in the corner. But you see them teeth. Look at that. Look at them teeth. That's crazy. But yeah, it was good. It was a standard Batman issue. I like when they do, like, the show Batman's detective side. That's pretty much what it was. I love that. Uh, the next issue basically goes into, the whole Court of the Owls story arc event. But yeah. Next up, Francis Mula Manipool. Man, sir, hats off to you again, and I'm not even wearing a hat, but hats off to you. Flash number 8. Trapped in the Speed Force with the madness of Turbine. Yeah, we get to see now who Turbine was. He was actually a Tuskegee Airman from 1944. And he's been trapped in the Speed Force since for 70 years. And all he wants to do now is go home. So when Barry gets there, he's all like, you can help me, and if you don't help me, I'm gonna kill you, and everything like that. And he knows who Barry is because he's been seeing Barry's life across the Speed Force. And but Barry's there to get who, Iris, and the other people that from that vortex that happened. And speaking of the vortex, we find out who is responsible for the vortex. Everything that's been going on in Central City, the blackouts, everything. Believe it or not, spoiler alert, it's Turbine. And all he wants to do is get home, back to his time. But Flash is like, look, I can't do that. I can't go back in time. I may change, alter the present, everything like that. And basically, Turbine, he's not going to handle that. The Speed Force has gave him powers, but it's made him crazy, and things like that. So what does Barry do? He basically says, you know what, I'm sorry, but we're leaving. But what happens is he ends up in a place, without spoiling. I don't want to spoil that. We get to see a character from the Flash universe that is coming into power, and that character, I don't want to spoil it. Yeah, that's your clue, guys. But Francis Manipool, sir, excellent job. Better job than what Jeff Johns did with Flash. I'm saying that with a straight face, and personally, that's my opinion. All right, next up, Green Lantern New Guardians number 8. Hunting the last of the Yellow Lanterns. Yeah, now everything is starting to come into fruition now in the books of New Guardians. We know that the Yellow Lanterns are either dead or in prison. And why am I always forgetting his name? Archillermo. Correct me, guys. Please correct me. I know I'm saying his name wrong. He finds out that he could be the last Yellow Lantern, and he finds out that Sinestro is now back with the Green Lanterns. Everything like that. Uh, and if the Guardians, the Kyle and the gang realize that, first of all of them realize that they're underpowered. They all need to charge their batteries. So I understand now why Kyle goes back home to Earth and why he appeared at the end of Blue Beetle, the last issue. Nork has been called back to where uh, the Indigo tribe, and that's involving what's going on in Green Lanterns. And why Belize was with Kyle when Jaime was looking in his apartment. But yeah, everything starts to come to fruition in this, and it was good to see. And we also get to see how Artillero, I hope I'm saying his name right, guys, is able to repower himself, thanks to a certain individual, a former Yellow Lantern like himself. But it was good nonetheless. But now it's finally everything is starting to be ingested now into this book as well, because they've been kind of off the grid. So yeah, good stuff. Tony Bedard and Tyler Kirkham, good, very very good. Next up, Dan Jurgens, Keith Griffin, Superman number 8. Yes. All right. So Hellspawn, Pawn of Steel. The bottom line, the gist of this is that there's some differences now. It seems that The Damonites have exiled Hellspawn because they feel that they feared him now, so they wanted to get rid of him. Hellspawn wants revenge, so he wants the reason why he wants Superman is so Superman can be his pawn, like on a chess piece, to do his dirty work for him. Clark's not having that. Like fuck that shit. You know, it's a little bit on the dialogue side in the pretty much the first half of the book. Then by the second half of the book, there's a big battle scene between Hellspawn and Superman. Very good fight. Um, that cover does explain a lot. Hellspawn put this into Superman, and basically it gave him nightmares of a future that might happen. Like, the Justice League is going to be coming after Superman. There are going to be a lot of people gunning for him, things like that. But the bottom line is Hellspawn wanted Superman as his legion, his pawn, to do his dirty work. And he always said, and it was funny when Hellspawn said, and as a reward for doing my work, I'll give you planet Earth. You can do whatever you please with it. Rule these people. He's always felt that Superman should be ruling the people of Earth with an iron fist. And then, Superman basically is almost to a point. Superman's like, if it wasn't for good people like Jonathan and Martha Kent raising me, I may have become like you. But yeah, it was good. Nonetheless, I enjoyed it. But they tweaked Hellspawn's origin a little bit. Like, the Damonites now fear him. They don't want him being a part of them, and I was a little bit on the whoa, And I thought the ending was good with Clark and Jimmy was good because Jimmy he has bed bugs, so he has to stay at Clark's apartment. I thought that was funny. All right, and last but not least, guys, the beginning of the culling. Teen Titans #8. Now, there have been a lot of people asking me, hey kid, hey Chris, why are the Titans in those Tron-like costumes? Well, now we know. The Ravengers Reborn. Basically, Scott Lobdell have introduced the character of Nowhere, the head of Nowhere, Harvest, has captured the Teen Titans. And he's turning them into his new Ravengers. These are outfits, garden outfits that the Ravengers wear. Not only that, we get to see more of, you know, a lot of individuals, like a lot of things that Scott Liddell basically touches on in the story. There's an individual in here called Omen. She basically is a psychic, and she knows how to get all their secrets out. Um, we also see an individual called Leash, who basically he psychically connects with you, and after he psychically connects with you, there's nowhere getting away from him. We also get an individual. I finally get to see Amanda Waller for the first time. Granted, I'm not reading anything with her in it, so it was good to finally see what my mentor been talking about. Yeah, she still acts like a bitch, but yeah, she's not the robust Amanda Waller. She's basically Angela Bassett, Amanda Waller. Uh, but what really intrigued me the most is not only that is Wonder Girl, and we understand a little bit more, especially her powers, the armor. What she's really wearing is an invisible armor. You can't see it, but it's an invisible armor. Omen, she showed it. She's got like a tiara, some shoulder guards, ankle guards, bracelets, everything like that. But it's the lasso that really is also a thing. The red lasso. Basically, it's revealed. Omen reveals that to Cassandra is that, well, to us, that the lasso actually drains her life. So that's why she doesn't use it a lot. So when she uses it, it drains her life. That was crazy. I'm like, whoa, interesting. But this was the prelogue to the culling. It'll kick off in the Teen Titans annual #1, and they'll go into uh, Superboy and Legion Lost, and then I think it'll end in the Ravengers book, which comes out. But now we get to. I understand now why they're in these Tron-like outfits. Uh, it's just the garments of the Ravengers, and but it was good nonetheless. I did enjoy what I read. A lot of interesting things that came to fruition in this, guys. Very, very, very good stuff. Sorry, I was looking at the time. Um, but it was good nonetheless. All right, so that was it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed what you saw, and I hope I didn't spoil too much for you guys, as always. But thanks for listening. This is Mount Vernon Kid saying peace, one love, stay tuned, keep it real as always. God willing, I will see you guys next week for another review. But other than that, you guys take care.